right, ladies and gents, welcome to Masti with Satvik Saini, episode 18. Tonight, as we're filming this, I have one of my very special and oldest friends, Amulya Srivastava. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, all right. Amulya, first and foremost, tennis is officially back. Give me your thoughts.
First of all, I couldn't wait for tennis to be back. I think this is the longest. Ever since we've started watching tennis, as tennis fans, we have tennis throughout the year. We have probably about a month of not having tennis at all, and so for me, this was extremely weird. But I'm so glad it's back. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens at the U.S. Open now.
True, it was crazy indeed, especially because this is the first time I think since the wars that Wimbledon was not happening.
Yeah,
Was,
dude. And given it was like Federer's main Grand Slam, I was kind of bummed out. I was like, why couldn't you guys just do it after the U.S. Open and the French Open? I didn't think that it was necessary for them to cancel it, but I understand their decision.
Oh yeah, and for some context here, Amulya is a diehard Federer fan, while I've always been a long diehard Nadal fan. So we've had this rivalry go back for like 10 years now. That was just some context. But dude, did you watch any of the Cincinnati matches? Because that's what happened first, right before the Masters tune-up.
Yeah, um, I saw the Novak versus RBA. That was probably the only match I saw, and I saw highlights of all the other matches. So yeah, I saw all of RBA versus Novak, and then highlights of some important matches here and there. Oh, I saw Andy Murray versus Zverev full. So yeah.
So watching some of those matches in Cincinnati, what was your take on it? What'd you think about the fans or lack of fans?
That was honestly weird for me to watch because tennis is a sport where like players rely so much on having those fans at the stadium, because they just feed off of the crowd reactions, right? And their emotions, their adrenaline is at an all-time high for the athletes as well. So it was weird for me to see that. I remember the funniest thing for me was seeing Andy after he won his first round match. He goes up to the crowd and he was like, yeah, he was acknowledging the crowd, and there was nobody in the stadium. So for me, that was weird. So, but I think that this is the new normal for the foreseeable future. So I guess we just got to get used to it now.
Dude, I'll be honest, real talk. I thought it wasn't as weird as I thought it would be. I kind of liked hearing just the tennis ball noises and the squeaks and the slides, and I don't know. I thought it was like raw tennis for some weird reason. I
You
kind of
know,
like.
I went back and kind of had this moment of where I was comparing it to the NBA, because initially when the NBA was starting to come back, I thought it was going to be so much fun hearing the trash talk. It was going to be so much fun hearing the sneakers go slide around the court and stuff in the NBA games. But the way NBA did it with virtual fans and all that stuff, I didn't hear any of that. I didn't hear any of the trash talking and all that stuff in the NBA games. And so I thought it was going to be something like that, but it was completely different, because here you could hear the ball bounces, you could hear the ball hit the racket, and you saw the racket acceleration and the noises that it makes and all that stuff. So I found it kind of going back and forth between. I definitely prefer the NBA, the way NBA did it a lot more, because it just felt like they picked it right from where they started, right where they left off. So for
With the
me,
addition of even the
yeah.
virtual fans.
Yeah.
Dude, I think it makes it more challenging because tennis is already a pretty lonely sport. I don't think a lot of people realize that. It's basically you out there by yourself, kind of like boxing.
Honestly, it's
Now it's
perfect
even
for
more
promoting.
lonely.
Yeah.
So imagine no fans really backing you up. You got to hype yourself up kind of deal, especially if you're playing singles. It seems it's like a varsity. Like when we used to play varsity, it kind of seems like that. Like no one watches tennis in high school either. It's
Yeah.
probably just like a juniors match. That's what it probably feels like.
Yeah, and I saw in the Novak match that I saw against RBA, and for people that don't know RBA, it's Roberto Batista Agut from Spain. I barely saw any kind of emotion from Novak, whereas in the other circumstances, he would be looking at the crowd, pumping his chest, saying "Let's go" or whatever in his own native language and stuff. And here there was no reactions even after he won an important point or anything like that. So that was yeah, that was something that I kind of thought which was like different for me.
It was bizarre, but good job by Cincinnati for getting something together and doing this bubble kind of deal, following in the footsteps of the NBA. But I think they're kind of do a virtual fans kind of deal like NBA did for the U.S. Open, which starts tomorrow.
Oh, are they doing that?
Yeah,
I know. Oh,
they got
okay.
like a little screen set up on Arthur Ashe and Louis Armstrong, and they'll.
Yeah, I'm particularly interested in seeing how the night atmosphere is going to be like, or how they're going to make the night atmosphere be like at Arthur Ashe, because like as a tennis fan, like that's one of the craziest atmospheres for you to watch, even from TV, and especially as a player, it's one of the craziest atmospheres to play in because it's New York City, it's nighttime, and it's always rocking. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what happens at the nighttime. So
True, now it's crickets, so we'll see. So going back to you talking about Novak versus RBA, Roberto Batista Agut, that was the epic semifinal, and then him eventually winning the final against Milos. Tell me what are your thoughts about Novak's performance throughout Cincinnati?
I mean, it's what we have come to expect from Novak, right? I mean, you and I were texting during that game where we thought like every time RBA broke in the final set, it was like, oh yeah, he's got it in the bag. But then Novak just somehow pulls out a magic out of nowhere and then just straight. I mean, I think that's what's been like synonymous with Novak now, is that just being super clutch under pressure. I think the only thing stopping him this year is Rafa the French, obviously, from going for that perfect record. Rafa the French and his health. Those are the only two things that I can honestly think of, because he's been dealing with this neck issue for a while now. And so, yeah, like he was clutch as always. Didn't make many unforced errors in the last 4 or 5 games of the third set, and he was just a better player in those last 4 or 5 games. So yeah, clutch as always.
No, for sure, for real. Like it's betting against Novak is just such a hard. You're gonna lose money if you do that for
Yeah.
for sure. So, but Batista Agut almost had that in the bag, dude. It was like neck to neck, and then the tiebreak was just killer. Four aces, his serves like reamped. It was just amazing to watch.
I mean, like as a Federer fan, I know how Novak is in the tie breaks. Like I saw it in the Wimbledon finals. So I know. Yeah, he was. I mean, he won it 7-0, right? So there was
Yeah,
nothing. It was perfect from his side. So yeah, and honestly, Novak, or sorry, RBA is so criminally underrated in my opinion. He
yeah,
does not get the he does not like he's honestly, to me, he's the new David Ferrer basically. Like
yeah.
they're both from Spain, and they're both just grinders, right? They'll not give you anything. Like you have to earn your win against them. And RBA has had Novak's number in the last year and a half or so. I think he pulled off like 3 straight wins on the hard court against Novak, which is not easy to do. And
True.
so, I mean, that's a
2016.
Herculean task
It
in
was
tennis.
2016 Shanghai, I think, and then 2017, uh,
I think
2019 Qatar, and then my 2019 Miami, I think, too.
Miami, yeah, yeah. So,
Dude, I
yeah,
think I like the David Ferrer comparison, but I think Roberto Agut actually likes hard court more than Clay, whereas Ferrer liked Clay more. So I don't think he's like the
yeah,
most Spanish players. He likes
yeah,
he hits very
yeah.
flat, doesn't hit with a lot of
Hmm.
topspin. He can really hold his own from the baseline, kind
And
of
he has a
deal.
weird grip on the forehand side.
Yeah,
Like I don't know if you've seen him
strange.
return. Like he holds the racket in a different grip than most other players do. And so, yeah, I think he is definitely one player that's like you don't want to see him you don't want to see him in your draw, because he will pose threat, right, against any
For
of the
sure.
top players. So yeah, I'm rooting for him at the U.S. Open though. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's a likable guy and
Yeah,
dedicated.
for sure.
So did you watch the final at all?
I saw the first set and a half.
So what were your thoughts I have some takes on here about Novak, the way sometimes he looks like he's almost dead out there and then like comes back alive, like resurrects himself. So
Uh-huh.
I honestly thought two things. I thought he might not even show up for this match after he skipped the press conference against RBA and looked
Mhm.
literally dead. And it
Mhm.
looked like his soul exited the body in the first set. Granted,
Yeah.
Milos was playing well, but like, what did you think of that?
I mean, honestly, to begin with, I definitely thought even before the match that given that he played a 3-hour match against RBA in the semifinals right the day before, I definitely thought he was going to be a bit tired, a bit rusty, and he's obviously dealing with like some neck issues that he's been getting treatment for. So I definitely thought he was going to start slow, but to be honest, I did not expect the kind of start that Milos had. Like, he was bombing his serves. He was playing super aggressive from the baseline, and the set score reflected that, right? It was 6-1, first set for Milos. And then I knew this was gonna I knew it was gonna go 3. I didn't think that Novak was gonna lose in straight sets to Milos Raonic. Like, as good as Milos is, Novak, as we saw the day before, like he's gonna come back. So I just thought, like you said, I agree. Sometimes Novak looks like, and I think he does it kind of like intentionally to like throw off the opponent, in my opinion. But yeah, after the first set, Novak started kind of find his groove, and he started to put a lot more returns in.
Yeah.
And he's figured out Milos' serve, and then you're not, like, as a big server and as a big man as Milos is, you're not going to be able to stay in a baseline rally with Novak, right? Your chances are very, very slim in that sense, and I think that's where Novak started to just get better. He just started to hit the ball more consistently off the baseline, and then it was just routine
But
from there.
dude, the thing is, like, Novak has done this. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, he just like throws away sets. He does that. He did that in Australia against Thiem. Like, when he was in the third set, when Thiem went up 2-1, it looked like he needed someone to carry his body off the court. He
Yeah, I
does
mean,
that. Like, he's done that. He's
it
done it
could be
quite
a
a bit.
strategy, but I feel like after he got broken after he got broken for the first time, um, given his health, given how like he had played a 3-hour match the day before, I just figured like he just kind of gave that set away because he was like, it's hard to break Milos as it is, right? It doesn't matter how good of a returner you really are, and as we know, he's the best. I think it's hard to kind of break Milos' serve, and so I think he kind of just, after that first break of serve, he was just like, all right, we'll just and yeah, what you said could be a part of it, in terms of how he just gave
I,
it away.
I think
But
he is playing mind games. So I think he does it because he doesn't want to, like, if you want to try a new strategy, I don't think you would probably do it down like 4-1 or 5-1. So you kind of, because you didn't take a medical timeout like you did against RBA multiple times,
yeah,
where many things helped him, like the roof closing and things like that. Things went in his favor. But
dude,
against
I
Milos, it was
hate
just
that.
like, yeah, but against Milos, it was just, it like he threw it the first set. He's like, you know what? I just need to win 2 sets from now, and he
How,
just rocked and rolled.
yeah, how long was the first set? It was pretty quick, wasn't it? It was like
Oh
23,
yeah,
24 minutes. Yeah,
he wasn't tired at all, to say the least.
yeah. So, I
But
mean,
what do you
I don't know.
think?
Like,
So what do you think? I think there was two important turning points in this match. Like, I think it was that Milos had to win this in the 2 sets to have a
mhm,
chance.
yeah,
Otherwise, if it goes to 3, Novak's definitely the man. But I think he turned a switch in third set down 2-0 because Milos went up a
mhm.
break.
Yeah, Milos had a break. Yeah, yeah.
And then he just started shrinking. Dude, that's the hardest thing about Novak. He just shrunk the court. He broke him to love, and I think won like, I think 7 straight points on his serve.
Mm.
He was doing the awesome 2-shot pass because apparently Milos' volley is not that good for as big of a server he is.
I mean, none of the big servers can really volley if you think about it. Like, and they don't really have. I think Milos might have the best ground game of any of the big servers that I know, other than maybe Nick. I think
Oh,
Kyrgios has a pretty good ground game. But like, if you look at like Kevin Anderson's pretty decent, but like Dr. Evo, all he does is serve and volley.
yeah,
Um,
true.
who else? John Isner. I mean, you just got to make the man run around. After if you can get his return and play, and so I think these guys, like, they focus a lot more on their serving game and just keeping not getting broken. That's what, because they know their return games. That's why most of their service games go like most of their matches go like tie breaks, right? It's because like they don't have a return game, but they have a
Yeah,
booming serve that they rely on. So
but Milos does actually have a return game. he was returning well. He was redlining. I think he was hitting close to the lines. Did you see his forehand placement? Like because the
Yeah, his
first shot
forehand was
after the
great.
serve was
Hmm.
great, especially in the
Yeah.
first set and a half. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
Novak just went fully, what is it? Like I think his neck started to loosen up and he just went total beast.
Hmm.
Like when Novak goes in like full wall mode, I think he just you makes you go for more. And that's why
Yeah.
Milos is had what is it now 0-11 against him.
Yeah.
He's 0
Yeah.
0-10 to start with, which is
Yeah. He
crazy.
was 0-10. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of that's why, like, I think I was reading somewhere where Novak says it's a more of a mental game than it is a physical game because everybody knows how to hit a ball, right? Everybody has a great forehand, everybody has a great backhand, but Novak just turns it in like mentally. He's just like, you're not gonna like. He knows against like I think even to a certain extent, even against Nadal and Federer, right? Novak knows that like there's a level he can go to where sometimes Federer and Nadal can't go, right?
True.
But so if he can do that against them, he can definitely do it against Milos Raonic in a final where he's just so much more experienced in like the tense situations, right? No, like
Mhm.
Milos isn't that experienced in the final stages of a tournament as Novak is, and so I think he uses that as an advantage where he just doesn't like even after losing a 6-1 set, he's not gonna panic. Like he knows that there's levels that he can go to that Milos just might not be able to go to. So
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
He, so dude, this is the double Golden Masters. How
yeah.
insane is that?
That's crazy, dude. Honestly, like to think that like up until 2 years ago, he was having a hard time winning Cincinnati, and now he's won it 2 times, I think in
True.
a row now. And
No, he lost
that's
last year
to who?
to Medvedev in the semis.
Oh yeah, Medvedev beat him last year, but yeah, he's won two
Yeah.
out of the last three. So I mean, yeah, that's a crazy stat, and I think as much as I kind of hate to admit it, I think he's getting up there as the GOAT for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I
um,
think when it's all said and done, I think he will be, in terms of stats, he will be the
yeah,
GOAT. Not in
I don't
terms
think
of
the fans
fandom.
will ever accept him as the
Yeah,
GOAT just because of his antics off the court, right? Like the way he's been with this whole pandemic issue. As if you know tennis and if you've been following Novak, like you know how stupid he's been with this whole pandemic. But yeah, as a pure tennis, if you're looking at by the time they all retire, if you're gonna look at all the stats, it's pretty clear that Novak's gonna be the GOAT. So
yeah, pure tennis level wise. But enough about Cincinnati. Let's dive into U.S. Open, dude. You saw the draw. Let's get into each quarter,
let's do
starting
it.
with let me hear your stuff first, and then I'll say. So Novak's quarter. Some of the people in this quarter are Edmund, Struff, who you demolished in Cincinnati,
Yeah.
Isner through the fourth round, and then on the quarter side, and the other quarter side is Goffin, which will be the seeded matchup as a seventh seed,
Mhm.
Krejanovic, and Shapovalov. So what do you think of Novak's quarter?
Um, I think I think he's gonna win in straights. I think a lot is gonna depend on how his neck is feeling, right? I don't want to say. I think he's gonna lose a set. I have him going up against Edmund in the second round,
Yeah.
and I think if health is if he's not feeling 100%, I think Edmund might take a set off of him. Jean-Leonard Struff might take a set off of him, but if he's healthy, I think he goes straight nine for nine in the first three. And honestly, even against Isner, I think with the way Novak returns, um, I can see it going straight, but I think if he's healthy, Isner has the firepower to take a set off of him, and
Um,
maybe even go five just simply because of his serve. And yeah, I think he goes pretty. I think his toughest one might be his quarter. Like up until then, I think David Goffin. I think man has an insane backhand, one of the best backhands in the game, and
mhm.
he's extremely consistent. He's not on that Novak level, but he's also somewhat of a wall. Like he likes to rally from the baseline. So I think that one will be I think that'd be a good matchup.
So
And I think
is that your quarterfinal?
that's my
Novak versus
quarterfinal.
Goffin.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude,
That's
another
my
thing to
quarter.
keep in Another thing to keep in mind here is that, I don't know if you've been following, but BG and all those guys are saying the U.S. Open courts are playing really quick this year.
Yeah, they changed surfaces, right?
So Federer
Um,
really missed out this year because he would have loved the U.S. Open
Dude,
courts.
yeah. I was reading in after I think his second round match, Novak said that the courts are 30% faster than they were last year,
Yeah,
and so
that's.
for him it
I
takes
think
time to
that's
adjust to that.
true, but I think that's more the outside courts. So Arthur and Ash and Lewis Armstrong are gonna be a little bit slower. We'll see how Arthur Ashe plays out tomorrow.
Yeah,
But still, I think everything's playing faster. So I don't know. I still think Novak. Edmund could give him if his forehand is firing, but I expect Novak to pass through pretty. I think first round match tomorrow might be interesting against Damir Zumar
Zoomer. Yeah,
because he's tired, dude. Think about it. 5 hours and 2 days. He has no turnaround. 1 day of rest.
yeah. I mean, I guess. But I see if it was a little bit more of a known player, I think that might have convinced me to give him some trouble. But I don't think he has any trouble beating him in straight sets.
Yeah, more than trouble. I just wanted to see how like health or how fit he would look on the court and how comfortable he'd be.
Exactly.
That's
I
what I
think
was
health is
curious to
more
see.
of a yeah, I think health is more of a factor in the first couple of rounds just to see how he's feeling and what's going on with his neck and stuff. So yeah. So
Dude,
yeah, that's
and
my
actually,
quarterfinal.
oh, interesting. I have Novak there, same with you, but my other quarterfinalist is actually Krajinovic. Krajinovic.
Against Novak?
Philip, yeah, because dude,
Phillips?
he's playing well. Yeah. He beat Thiem. He like routed a bunch of people in Cincinnati. He likes the
Yeah, he
fast
beat him in the
conditions.
first round, right?
Yeah, he crushed him. It was 6-2, 6-1.
Yeah.
And and I don't really trust Goffin that much in US Open. And I've given up on Chapo. Those guys, he's so erratic.
He's
He's
too
the other
young.
12th seed.
I think he's too young to be given up on though.
No, but how long are you gonna? Okay, but he still hasn't shown me anything to put him above and make the quarterfinals.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely don't think he makes the quarterfinal of the US Open. No. I'm
That's why I
higher
think.
on Felix Auger Aliassime though. I think he's got real talent to be able to do
He's
some damage.
he's also a choker, but we'll get to his
Okay.
quarter later.
We'll get there later.
So Novak versus Krajinovic, and yours is Novak versus Goffin.
Yep.
All right, next quarter is Stefanos Tsitsipas. We got the Sitsi. All right, in his quarter, specifically in his up to his fourth round match, we got Coric, Garin, a couple other nobodies. And then on the other bottom side, we have Schwartzman, Hurkacz, Jack Sock, I don't even know why I mentioned him, Nakashima, and Alexander Zverev is the fifth seed, which would be the
Yeah.
potential quarterfinal. So
Um.
walk me through this quarter for you.
Yeah. I think. I think his first two rounds are easy for him. I think he goes straight sets. I know a little bit about Ramos Vinolas. He's from Spain, but I was looking up his record. He's like 2-0 against him. So I'm not. I mean, even though that's a bit of a small sample size, but I'm not concerned about Ramos Vinolas. And I don't even know who the second round matchup is. His name is Kovalik. I have no idea who that is. And I think George might give him a bit of trouble. On his day, dude hits the ball hard. He moves well, and he's got some experience playing against the big guys. I think he beat Novak or Federer last year in one of the tournaments, so he can definitely cause some upsets. But I think Tsitsipas wins in 4 against George, and then Garin. I don't know too much about him in terms of like I just haven't seen him play enough, but like I think he's a good upcoming player. I think he's seeded in this tournament. I think.
He is.
Yeah. So that just based off of seedings, I think it might be a good match, but I don't know too much about him. And yeah, I think. See, this was tough for me because Zverev, he's so like I don't know what I'm gonna get with Zverev, right? He hasn't, apart from the semifinal or the quarterfinal he made at the Aussie, like the run that he had at the Aussie Open, he hasn't really done much in terms of like with all the hype that he has. He hasn't done much at the Grand Slam level.
He has no. I think that's unfair. He has done stuff. He's won 3 Masters in the World Tour Finals.
No, I'm talking about
He's
in
not
Grand
recently.
Slams. I'm talking
Oh,
about Grand Slams. Yeah, no,
okay.
he's won Masters and all that stuff,
Yeah,
but he hasn't done anything on the Grand Slam level because at like the hype that he has, like everyone's high on him, right? Like so you have to perform at the Grand Slams now, And so that was tough for me, but I think I'm gonna go with Tsitsipas. He beats him in 4. That's what I think.
So what's your quarterfinal then?
I have Tsitsipas versus Zverev.
Okay. So Sasha versus Zverev.
Sasha versus Zverev, yeah. Sasha versus Tsitsipas. So I think, and then, so yeah, that's my quarterfinal for that. Tsitsipas versus Zverev.
Interesting. Dude, I really like Stefanos Tsitsipas in this because he's got a pretty relative light quarter. He loves fast courts. He's the best mover by far for his size. I really like his game. It's pretty like, I don't know, something about his game. It's philosophically him as a person.
I think it's the one-hander.
His one-hander is mediocre, but his forehand's good.
Yeah.
But he's got flash. He's got a little bit of like the Bourne.
I think it's the hairstyle.
Hair, yeah.
Yeah.
But these conditions really favor him. They suit him. I think he goes well. I don't think Coric, dude, is literally the biggest disappointment if I've ever known one. How many tries
Over
are we going to give this?
for you?
Yeah, Coric is older. How many tries are we going to give this guy? How many times do you expect this guy to like? Oh, if he gets it together, he won't. How many years?
He's still young though. He's still pretty young.
Dude, I don't give a shit, dude. No matter how young you are, there's eventually a point you turn around. But
so how many times are you trying to give Zverev then? At the Grand Slam level?
I think Sasha will be fine.
Dude,
eventually
he's got to show me. Like I believe him in the Masters level, and he's won 3 Masters and all that stuff. But you got to show me at the Grand Slam level. I think his record at the U.S. Open is not that great. I think he's made like the 2nd or the 3rd round. I think that's his best.
Dude, one of the best matches I saw was Coric versus Zverev at the U.S. Open Live in 2017, and Coric beat him.
Exactly.
At the grandstand. It was a good match though. But honestly, I think he's struggling right now, so I still don't put him high. I don't think he loses to Kevin Anderson, but I think next round to Nakashima. That kid is pretty good.
From Japan?
No, he's American.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's this young kid, dude. He can hit the ball. He can crack the ball.
Okay.
But I think coming out of that quarter will actually be Schwartzman. I really like Schwartzman.
Really?
He likes his conditions too, yeah. I think this will help him out. He can move
I think that's
well.
a hot
He can
take.
defend. Schwartzman?
Yeah.
He's routinely done well, though.
Okay. We'll see.
So I like Tsitsipas versus Schwartzman in the quarters.
So you think Schwartzman beats Zverev?
I don't think Zverev makes it that far.
Okay.
So it'll be Schwartzman coming out of that side and Tsitsipas quarterfinal. All right. This draw is definitely bottom heavy. So let's get to the next quarter. Daniil Medvedev's quarter. Give me your thoughts on this one. Also, let me say the actual matchup quarterfinal is 3rd seed Medvedev projected versus 6th seed Berrettini.
Yeah. So I think. Let's see. I think he's got an easy first 3 rounds. Delbonis, Jair, and Pela. I don't think any of these guys do any damage to Medvedev. He's coming off of a finals run last year at the U.S. Open, so he's got confidence in that sense. Even though the court, I think, the courts are a little faster, but we'll see how he handles that.
Dude, he likes fast courts.
He likes fast courts, yeah.
Medvedev's perfect conditions are like fast court, low bouncing. Yeah. Currently, what the new surface is.
I'm in like this one. I'm not. This one's tough for me. His 4th round with Dimitrov. That because Dimitrov's a good player, right? Like, he beat Federer last year. He also had a good run. He made it to the semis last year, so I think that's a tough one. I say Medvedev in 5.
And is that the quarterfinal?
No, that's the 4th round for him.
Oh, 4th round, okay.
Yeah. And then I'm not sold on Berrettini just yet. For me, he was just there's no backhand, right? And I think he was just a one-trick pony. He got there last year. He had a good one, but I don't have too much faith in him. So I think Medvedev gets him in 4. I'll just give him some respect just because he's a 6th seed. So yeah, I think it's Medvedev versus Berrettini for me in the quarterfinal. For the quarterfinals. I think the seedings hold up.
Dude, interesting. I this one's loaded because they got 3 of the 4 semifinalists from last year. Like you
Hmm.
mentioned, Dimitrov, Berrettini, and Medvedev.
Yeah.
And I think Medvedev's these conditions are perfect for him. And what I saw from Cincinnati, I think same thing with Tsitsipas. I think both of those guys getting out of Cincinnati early actually bodes well for them for the U.S. Open. This
Hmm.
only helps them.
Yeah.
So I think Medvedev's third round match could be difficult. And guess who that is? Feliciano Lopez, who
Oh, you think
loves
so?
who loves quick conditions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Deli,
Because it suits his serve and volley style.
yeah,
Yeah.
Deliciano, dude. He loves to slice. He loves to. That's what Medvedev could be troubled
The
by.
most good-looking dude on the ATP circuit, Feliciano Lopez. Shout out.
But yeah, even remember last year Medvedev had almost ran into. This was a tough match for him.
Yeah.
They played last
Yeah.
year at the U.S. Open. This was a tough match, and then so I think Medvedev comes out of that from that fourth round for sure. I'm
So
high on
you
Medvedev.
wait. You have Dimitrov losing to who?
No, no. So let me get to it. So I think I have Dimitrov losing to Basilashvili. Dude, that guy
Oh, come on,
cracks
bro.
the
Come on,
ball.
man.
He lost fast condition. Dude, Grigor Dimitrov's still suffering from COVID. He doesn't look well. He does not look well.
Okay, fine.
No, seriously, I don't. It's hard to trust Dimitrov for me. So I think Medvedev, Basilashvili. I'm butchering his name, so I apologize, Basilashvili. But the fourth round will be that, and the
Okay.
bottom and the other quarterfinals with Medvedev will be Rublev for me.
Ooh, that's a. I think he's the dark horse for me, because he beat Federer last year at the Cincinnati Open. He blistered him in like 64 minutes. I don't think I've ever seen Federer take a beating like that.
At Cincinnati,
Like, yeah, he beat him in like 64 minutes, and I was just like, what is going on in this match? Federer couldn't do anything, and so yeah, in his day, if it's his day, Rublev can cause some serious damage. So yeah, I like
I
that pick
like
actually.
I like Rublev over Berrettini because I think these conditions also fit Berrettini, but his lack of backhand, I think Rublev can really pound the ball.
But he can hit
So
a
my
forehand though.
who Berrettini?
Berrettini,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, that's what I'm saying. Conditions
yeah,
suit
his
him,
back
serve
can
and
see him.
forehand.
Yeah,
But his lack of backhand, I think Rublev will exploit. But
yeah.
that's what I think. I think the quarterfinal will be Medvedev versus Rublev. All right, dude. Another loaded quarter. Dominic Thiem's quarter. Walk me through it.
I think this is the most exciting quarter for me, because I think he goes. I'm particularly excited about this one because this one has the potential of Thiem meeting Sumit Nagal in the second round. He's an Indian player that Federer played last year, and he took a set off of him.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to him. And so I think that I'm really looking. I really hope he makes it to the second round, because I would love to see this matchup. Um, I think his first 2 rounds for me, I think are going to be pretty easy. But of the top 4 seeds, I think Dominic is the one that I like trust the least. At the hard courts right
Is that
now.
because of his latest Cincinnati egg?
Yeah, I know he prefers like clay as his favorite surface and all that stuff, and so for me, like, I don't know, right? I'm not sold on Dominic right now. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that second round matchup with Sumit Nagal. And then I think Cilic gives him some trouble in the third round. Um, for me, like, I think that one goes 5, because on his day, Cilic can hit us, like, he can blow anybody off the court. Um,
He's won the U.S. Open before too.
yeah, in 2014. And then I think his fourth round matchup, I have him with Felix Auger-Aliassime. I think that one will be a good one, but I think Thiem gets it pretty easily. And then this is
So you're
this
Felix.
is
Wait, oh my God. So you're Felix beating Andy?
yeah, I think. As much as I would love for Andy to go far in the tournament, I just don't think he's ready yet to play consecutive 5-set matches in a span of 2 days. But I would love to see Andy make a run, because he's my third favorite player. So In the quarterfinals, I have RBA beating Thiem.
Ooh, so you think
Yeah,
RBA is gonna get out of? Because he's
I
facing Milos in the third round.
yeah, I think RBA. I think RBA wins. I think RBA comes out of this quarter.
Oh
Um,
damn, I like that.
yeah. So, cause I was looking up Dominic's record against RBA, and he's 1-3 against him. So, I think RBA has his number, and RB like give it like after seeing what RBA did against Novak, I think he can cause some serious damage. And I'm rooting for him. Like I really want to like I love an underdog, so I would love to see him go
Make some
far.
noise.
Yeah, make some noise. So yeah, I have RBA coming out of come out of this quarter.
So RBA versus Dominic Thiem is your quarter final.
That's my quarter. Yep.
Dude, that's a tough one because those two guys played so well in Cincinnati, and they have freaking one of them advances. This is where Novak and Tsitsipas really lucked out, especially Novak. I wish RBA was his third round. That would have been awesome.
Mhm.
But so out of that, I think RBA is great. He's been balling, but I think that 0 and 5 head to head against Milos is just such a tough call. I think Milos comes out in 5 against RBA because he's never
Mhm.
beat him before. And Milos' serve is huge, and it'll be cracking it. Faster courts, it only helps.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I think if RBA can figure out a way to like because he's kind of small in
Yeah,
stature, so I think that definitely helps Milos with it in his serving games. But I think if RBA can figure out a way to kind of like neutralize his serve, because RBA can like he's not like a bad returner or anything, right? Like so
yeah.
if he can like kind of figure out a way to neutralize that serve, I think RBA has a better ground game. He has a solid backhand. I think one of the
Oh
best
yeah, for sure.
backhands in the game. So I think RBA definitely has advantage in the ground game. But yeah, I mean that I didn't know about the 0-5 record. I didn't know that he hadn't beaten him ever. So that's kind of interesting to. But I'm gonna stick with my RBA pick here. Just
I just don't think Milos will engage in a lot of baseline rallies with him because I
mm,
think Milos playing the way he did would have beaten anyone in the Cincinnati final if it wasn't Novak kind of deal. Because his 1-2 punch is strong, and Milos is really. I mean, besides maybe something like Medvedev or obviously Djokovic,
yeah,
some real wall guys, but we'll see. So that's where I think that stands. I think Felix, dude, choker. This
yeah,
guy, he's so young. I've seen him last year when I like such a juicy matchup between him and Chapo. I watched it first round live. He literally dropped an egg. His serve,
yeah.
real issues. 0 and 5 in ATP finals, dude. Kid needs to figure out his serve. I think he loses to Andy Murray second round.
Mm,
Upset. I have him on upset alert. And then I actually have Andy Murray going to the fourth round. Dominic Thiem, he something really looks off with him. I don't know what. I don't think it was just the fast courts that was troubling him.
hmm
And I think he's been playing better in fast courts. I mean, the World Tour finals, he won Vienna, but still, it's hard for me to trust him. Kind of like you were saying. I don't think Chilik even makes it out to meet him. I think he'll get upset in the first round. So it'll be Thiem versus what's that fourth round there?
Andy,
Oh yeah, Thiem versus Andy. I think Thiem advances, but then Thiem versus Milos will be my quarterfinals.
you think Andy's ready to play 4 5-set matches?
I think it'll be tough between him and Dan Evans because I actually like Dan Evans on
Yeah,
his conditions too. So it's a toss up, but I'm just a hardy pick. I want Andy to do well.
yeah,
So,
me too, me
but
too. I'm rooting for him.
but the quarterfinal will be Milos versus Thiem
Okay,
for me.
all right, all right.
All right, so dude, we got the quarterfinals now. Let's walk through them. So, give me your top half semifinal and then your bottom half. Actually, no. Give me your top half semifinal, then I'll give you mine, and then we'll go to bottom.
Okay, so I have Novak beating Goffin. I
How many
just think
sets?
I say 4.
Okay.
It could be 3 if Novak's neck is straight. It doesn't have any injury issues, and because Novak, I mean, if you're gonna like with any of the top players, if you're gonna get him, better get him in the earlier rounds, because they start to heat up later rounds, and it's very hard to get them at that point. So if Novak's injury isn't an issue, I could see Novak winning in straights, but I think I'm gonna give Goffin 1 set because I don't think his injuries go away. His neck issues go away right away. So I have Novak beating Goffin in 4 sets.
Wait, so let me back up here. So you think Novak's going to be slightly injured in this tournament, but still do well enough to progress?
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
like we saw in Cincinnati. So
So he'll throw a couple
I'm not
sets
betting
here and there.
against Novak.
Okay, so Novak advances against Goffin, and then what about your other quarterfinal?
I have, let's see, who do I have? I have Tsitsipas. That's the other one, right?
And Sasha.
Yeah. I have Tsitsipas beating Zverev in 5. Because I think they're evenly matched. Even though Tsitsipas leads 5-1 against Sasha.
It's 5-1.
It's 5-1.
Holy, did not know that.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised by that stat. So clearly he has his number, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna trust Zverev to get there first of all, and then I think his form takes him to 5 sets. But I'm gonna give Tsitsipas the edge to go to the semis.
Okay, I like that. All right, for me, Novak versus Krejinovic. Butchering that name. Sorry, Serbians.
Just say
everywhere.
Just say Philip.
Philip, yeah, Philip. But yeah, Phil played well. I think he has Janko Tipsarevic under his guidance, but still not enough for anything against Novak. I think Novak will struggle a little bit physically because he is going back to back. He is getting a little bit older. I mean, things happen, right? Age starts to hit you a little bit more. Quarterfinals, but I still think he breezes in 3. Maybe one tight one there. And then the other quarterfinal, Schwartzman versus Stefanos. I think Schwartzman has a lot of packs a lot of firepower for a little guy. And he gave Nadal some fits last year. I remember, and dude, one of the greatest guys, honestly. He's such a nice guy. So, but Stefanos has too much firepower, too much serve and forehand, and I think he advances in 4. So we have the same semifinal there, Novak versus Tsitsipas.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the bottom half. Give me your 2 quarterfinal. Who comes out of the quarter?
All right. I say RBA comes out against Thiem.
Okay.
I'm going all in on RBA in this US Open. And I have Medvedev beating Dimitrov. So I'm gonna, cause Medvedev, like, he likes hard courts, right?
No,
you
had Medvedev and Berrettini. Because Dimitrov would be a 4th round.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I have Medvedev beating Berrettini. Okay. I have no faith in Berrettini. I just think he gets by just because he's the number 6 seed, so he has an easier draw in the first couple of four rounds. And Medvedev is just a better player overall, and he's going to be confident coming off of the US Open final run last year. So yeah, I have Medvedev beating Berrettini in 4.
Okay, so your semi is Medvedev versus RBA.
RBA. Yeah.
Cool, I like it. RBA really sneaking up there. Dude, I got Medvedev versus Rublev, the battle of the Russians. I think Rublev packs a lot of heat, but Medvedev really likes his conditions, fast conditions, and he's kind of like a wall, a younger Novak in a weird way.
Yeah.
But get everything back. And his last US Open performance really helps him pick him here, and he's well rested. I think Medvedev will come out in 4. And then Milos versus Thiem. I think Milos will beat Dominic Thiem in 4. Thiem, these are really quick courts. He'll really have to ball out, and his return game has to be on point, and I still can't trust him quite yet in this tournament. So the semifinal for me here is Medvedev versus Milos.
Okay, I like it. Yeah,
now,
I think Milos. It's good to finally see Milos playing well because he's been injury riddled for a while now, and he's finally starting to come back in form. So yeah, it's good to see him doing well now.
No, I agree. I mean, he's reached finals before. He's reached important finals. Good to see him playing well again. Now, give me your semifinals predictions. You got Novak versus Tsitsipas?
I have Novak. As much as I want to say Tsitsipas, I'm gonna have to go with Novak. There, I just think if he makes it to the semifinals, it's gonna be super hard to beat him. He's going to be in full flight. He's going to be focused. But one thing I do think is crowd not being there is going to be a huge, huge factor, because Novak is someone that kind of like he gets riled up because of the way crowds are against him. And
Yeah,
that's when he
true.
starts playing his best tennis, right? Because I think he feeds off of the crowd negativity. And I think that is a huge, huge motivator for him to like shut up the crowd and stuff like that. So I think not having a crowd is going to play a factor, but I still have him beating Tsitsipas in, I would say 5, just because Tsitsipas is playing pretty well and Novak's got that injury issue right now.
I like that. I think this will also go 5, but I think Tsitsipas will honestly beat Novak.
Ooh, how much I would love for that to happen. I would
No,
love
so,
that.
dude, I think he has a game to like. Tsitsipas has beaten him before. What time is better than now? Mentally, I think the crowd not being there, honestly, like you're saying, impacts Novak. Yes, Tsitsipas does have to prove some things regarding jitters. Novak definitely has that match experience, but I think
Mm-hmm.
mentally, like Novak suffers through a lot of up and downs. At his peak, Novak is the best out of the 3, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not the flattest. Like
Yeah,
always, like Nadal is always consistently good on every single point. Doesn't
yeah.
throw away sets like that. And I think this will catch up to him by this time, and he'll have a lot of miles
I think
on his
I
legs.
do think though that aspect of it being a 3 out of 5 set match definitely favors Novak, because he, like you said, he can be a little inconsistent. Like you said, he can give away a set, but he knows that you have to beat him in three out of 5 sets.
Yeah,
2 out of 3 is different because you can. It's a pretty quick, like things can go wrong just like that, right? You can lose a match in like 40 minutes. But a 3 out of 5 in a Grand Slam, even though there are no fans, it's still a Grand Slam. And I think Novak's experience there is going to be extremely helpful to him. And that mental edge over the young guys that the big 3 have is gonna push Novak over Tsitsipas for me in this one.
yeah, I hear you, but I just think I mean, I'm hoping that Tsitsipas can really. I'm pretty high on him because he can really redline the forehand and the serve +1 combo. So I'm hoping for some great offensive versus defensive tennis. So Novak advancing for you, Tsitsipas for me. Lock
Both
me
in
through the
5.
bottom. Both in 5, yeah.
Uh,
Medvedev versus RBA for you. Who you got?
this one, as much as high as I am on RBA, I think I say Medvedev gets him in 4. Medvedev, he's just like you said, he's a wall, and I mean, so in a way, so is RBA. But I think everything that RBA does better, I think Medvedev just does just a little bit better. I think Medvedev definitely has a better backhand, and going off of his performances last year at the U.S. Open, I'm gonna have to give him the edge here, because he's been at that stage before. Even though he's pretty young, he's been at that. He's been there. He's done that. So for me, Medvedev gets RBA in 4.
Some revenge from that Cincinnati loss.
Yep.
Medvedev versus Milos for me. I think Medvedev wins in 4 as well. Medvedev is just too good from the baseline, too good at returning. He can really back up a return like Rafa, like really back up and get those returns in, and then move
Yeah.
in with his backhand. He loves playing his backhand cross. He really utilized this against Milos. And he also has a huge serve. He can move.
Yeah.
I think he's got the whole package. I think Medvedev will really find his form, especially with these quicker courts. So my final is Tsitsipas and Medvedev. Your final is Novak versus Medvedev.
Yep.
Your final.
I'm gonna give Novak. I think it's gonna be hard to stop him in the finals. If he's gonna get to the finals, I think he gets him. Just like in Medvedev versus RBA, everything RBA does better, Medvedev just does a little bit better. Same here. Everything that Medvedev does, Novak just does a little bit better. In some cases, even a lot better. So for me, I don't see Novak losing his reign just yet. I think he goes undefeated through the U.S. Open. So I have Novak winning in 5 against Medvedev.
Ooh, repeat of last year's final, except
Repeat of
Novak
last year's.
winning?
Mm-hmm.
Really? You don't
Yeah.
think Medvedev has any chance?
No, I mean no. He has a chance, but that's why it goes 5. But I think Novak just picks it up in the crucial moments and just goes to another level of consistency and then just gets him there. So yeah, I got Novak in 5.
No, it's hard to bet. It's hard to bet against Novak.
Yeah, I'm not
But
gonna bet against Novak.
right now is the best time to bet against him for me. So we got Medvedev versus Tsitsipas for me. I think this is the juiciest rivalry. You remember what happened, right? The incident between
Yeah.
them. You better shut your
Bullshit
fuck
Russian.
up. Dude, there was recently an interview. Medvedev said his biggest rival is Stefanos.
Really?
And I love this rivalry. I think this will be the
Mhm.
budding rivalry after
Yeah.
we go. I'm looking for a great matchup. Medvedev gets rid of his Grand Slam demons, redempts himself from the last year 5-set loss, and beats Tsitsipas in 4, which will be a great brand of offensive bulldozing tennis from Tsitsipas versus wall-like tennis from Medvedev. And the next gen is here, ladies and gents. That's my take.
Well, all right. I mean, as much as I like my outcome, I hope your outcome is what ends up happening because I do not want Novak winning his 18th and coming closer to Rafa and Roger. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely super excited to have tennis back and to start off with a Grand Slam like the U.S. Open. Even though it kind of takes away that there's no fans, I'm still super excited to see it though.
Seriously, I wish I was down there this year, but unfortunately, it cannot happen.
I doubt you want to be in New York right now.
I mean, no, I wish things were normal and I could go down to the US Open.
Oh, okay. I see.
But yeah, I think Novak this is definitely his Grand Slam to lose, but I think physically, I think something will catch up to him. That's where I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But we'll see. First day starts tomorrow. Well, anyways, Amulya, thank you so much for diving in, dissecting the US Open and tennis world with me. I appreciate it, bro.
Of course.